How's it going, everybody? So we have a fun review today as we're talking Batman Caped Crusader. For as long as I can remember, I've always been a huge Batman fan. Growing up, Batman the Animated Series and Batman Beyond were true pillars of my childhood into why I love Batman as a character so much. You can imagine my excitement level with Bruce Timm, one of the producers of those shows, Matt Reeves, who did the Batman, and JJ Abrams, all are producing Batman Caped Crusader. And despite all of this talent involved, however, it seemed like whoever at Warner Brothers Discovery, David Zaslav, they just weren't that interested in this show. In case you're wondering why, strangely, this series is debuting on Amazon Prime Video and not Max. After watching all 10 episodes of Batman Caped Crusader, I think that was a massive mistake on their part. Over the years, we've had our fair share of different Batman animated shows. I mean, there's never been a shortage of them. However, Caped Crusader captures a lot of the elements that I love so much about the Batman animated series. The animation style they go for here with this show definitely feels very similar, evoking the same vibes, while delivering a dark, gritty exploration of Batman with every episode introducing different villains from his rogues gallery, each with their own fascinating explorations into their characters. The main sticking point that makes it feel fresh and different is the overall aesthetic they're going for with the show, having this classic noir type feeling to the setting as it's heavily inspired by the 1940s, 1950s era. Classic cars, retro TVs and radios, right down to the design of most of the characters. Throwback vibes are apparent even down to Batman's costume with the pointy ears and all, feeling ripped right out of the comic books from the 1940s. Several of the villain designs as well have that golden age era of comic books look to them, particularly the use of the very first Clayface, Catwoman having her classic purple costume. There is an attempt to emulate that sort of retro design for this new look for Harley Quinn, which admittedly it did take some time to grow on me, much like Harleen as a character. Once she's introduced as Bruce's therapist, besides Harvey Dent, she's really the only other character from Batman's rogue gallery who's in multiple episodes of Caped Crusader, though she only suits up in one of the episodes. Much like we're seeing with some other shows lately, like Invincible and X-Men 97, it's trying to cater to a much older demographic of fans as opposed to the younger audience. And make that pretty apparent from the get-go with the subject matter within the episodes, touching on heavier, mature emotions and themes within them. But this Batman is still early days Batman. Bruce isn't really as adjusted mentally or emotionally to the double life juggling between both Bruce and Batman, along with the fact that this Batman doesn't have any real history with the villains or Gotham. Most of Gotham still thinks he's kind of an enigma. When I say darker material, I truly mean it. I have to commend this show for not really trying to dance around the fact that these are villains, because some of these different antagonists just straight up murder people. Like in episode 1, Penguin puts a kid in a trunk and dumps them in the ocean. Clayface kidnaps and murders people, which is why Batman's hunting him down. In the case of Harley Quinn, she's psychologically torturing people until Batman has to track her down and save everyone. The blending of different tones throughout the 10 episodes is one of the best parts about the show. It keeps things fresh and interesting. Basically, every single episode is a self-contained villain in the week style format. Some of them do vary a lot in tone, and that's just thanks to the fact that Batman's rogue gallery of villains is just so eclectic. One week he's trying to take down corrupt detectives and mobsters. Then in another episode, he's trying to take down Gentleman's Ghost or an energy vampire. When it comes to voicing an iconic character such as Batman, it always is such a tough task, mostly because of the fact I think you're always going to be compared to someone like Kevin Conroy, who I feel like to most people is the definitive voice of Batman. Overall, I think Hamish Linklater did a pretty great job with the material here. It definitely draws a lot of inspiration from Kevin Conroy, and truly fits the material we're going for with this interpretation of Batman. A dark, stoic, brooding Batman that doesn't mince words while investigating or he's taking down bad guys. On the flip side of that, his portrayal of Bruce Wayne also is spot on. This shallow, arrogant playboy persona, the real facade if you will. Occasionally at times he will slip in between the Bruce Wayne voice and the Batman voice in the same exact sequence, which definitely felt a bit jarring, but it didn't ruin the experience or anything. As for the rest of this voice cast, there were definitely some standouts and some I was more mixed upon. Any Driver voicing a female version of the Penguin was definitely an inspired choice. I thought it was just overall okay. I felt it was one of the weaker portrayals of Penguin that we've seen in any of the animated series before, and unfortunately because of the gender swapping, it's probably going to be the one main takeaway people are going to be complaining about, although she's only in one episode and it's the very first episode. As for the rest of the cast, I really wanted more of Christina Ricci as Catwoman. All around, I love the dynamic that was showcased between her and Bruce in their one episode, and it shows a lot of potential and where we could go with them in a potential second season. Jamie Chung's interpretation of Harley Quinn is an interesting one, as it shares a lot of different personality traits to Batman. Harleen in this has this sort of dual personality. We get this build up for multiple episodes of Harleen being this extremely bubbly bubbly, attentive person, only to then see this other side of her where she slips into this darker, more sadistic persona the moment that she transforms into Harley Quinn. It's certainly a memorable and different type of performance as Harley Quinn than we've seen in a lot of other media lately. Nocturna was also very creepy. She's voiced by McKenna Grace. Most of the creep factor comes to what she does to children and the fact that she has a battle with Batman in this abandoned carnival. The most memorable of the supporting cast by far is Diedrich Baker, who ironically we have seen before in the past voice Batman, but here he voices Harvey Dent. When it comes to Harvey's arc in Caped Crusader, the crime drama of it all, there's nothing inherently bad about the evolution of Harvey. His slow descent from an upstanding lawyer that goes by the book, for inevitably getting in with the wrong crowd and leading him down this dark path that turns him into Two-Face. Sure, it's definitely great, but it doesn't really add anything new if you're a fan of Batman. You pretty much have seen the origin story of Two-Face over and over again. I am very indifferent though on the overall redesign of Two-Face for this show. It's much less fantastical compared to a lot of the comics and different TV shows and the films. I think the big thing that threw me off is the fact they decided to burn the opposite side of his face compared to most other interpretations of the character. Unfortunately, because it is early days Batman, we don't get too many interactions between Gordon and Batman. We are still kind of building that relationship. Outside of the two of them helping saving kids from a burning building and stopping an assassination attempt on Gordon, that's kind of all you get. It does feel like they're setting up Barbara Gordon for some interesting ideas down the line, since throughout the season she interacts with Batman quite a bit, also learning the ropes of the criminal justice system and how corrupt it can be. Though the series is 10 episodes long, all the episodes are fairly short. They're about 25 minutes or so if you include credits. So it's a really easy binge, even if some of the episodes aren't the greatest. There's a few episodes throughout that are kind of clunkers. There's one episode in particular I'm not a big fan of where, for the most part, the entire episode is just Gotham PD trying to capture Batman and failing epically. If I had to pick my personal favorite episodes of the 10, I would say probably the ones revolving around Clayface, Nocturna, Catwoman, Gentleman's Ghost, and Harley Quinn. Personally, I'm really hoping that we get a second season of this show. There is a tease for a second season. I'm not going to spoil the tease, of course, but it involves an iconic villain from Batman's Rogue Gallery that strangely was absent in season 1 of this show. Once you get a chance to check out Batman Caped Crusader on Prime Video, make sure you share your thoughts down below. What'd you think of the series? Did you like the series? Did you not like the series? Thank you guys. As always, sharing out videos, I always do appreciate it. Make sure you like on the video and also subscribe to the channel so you update reviews, reactions, unboxings, and more. Till next time, I'll see you guys later.